there, boss blogger. It's Natalie Bardo here, and this is day 3 of my Start a Blog challenge. Let's do a quick recap. By now, you should have chosen your blog name and niche and purchased that domain and secured hosting so you can set up your self-hosted WordPress blog. You know my recommendations. It was Namecheap and SiteGround. On day 2, you got started with WordPress and themes. You've discovered, hopefully, the theme that you love, and you've started to put together that very simple homepage. Trust me, do not stress about trying to create some fancy homepage when you haven't even created any content yet. That's just a waste of time at this point. I also created a video all about that. It's called Setting Up Your Homepage Part 1. So you definitely want to check out the tech training and watch that video if you're struggling and not sure what your homepage should look like. Also, if you're watching this video and you're not part of the challenge, be sure to click the link and sign up. You're going to get my 7-day challenge guide as well as access to all of my tech training videos. So anything I tell you to do and you're like, I don't know how to do that, Natalie, don't worry. I've got a video that shows you how. Anywho, today is all about day 3, and we are talking all about, some technical and legal stuff. Today's assignment is pretty quick. It's nothing as difficult as choosing your blog name or setting up your homepage. Most of the heavy lifting is behind us. Today, it's all about plugins. There are some essential plugins you really should have installed on your blog. We're talking about a plugin that's going to regularly back up your blog. We're also talking about setting up a security plugin because as you start blogging, people are going to try to break your site and break into your site. It literally happens to me every single day. That's why you need a security plugin. We also want to set up anti-spam so people don't leave unsightly and unwanted spam comments on your blog. And we're also then going to shift to talk about some legal stuff. But I do warn you, I am not a lawyer, nor am I giving you legal advice. I'm just telling you what any good person who is telling someone to set up a blog would. It's something that not a lot of people talk about. So anyways, let's get started with having a look at those essential plugins I just mentioned, and I'll give you my top picks because, I love to try everything, and these are the ones that I found that actually work really well. Plus, at the very end, I'm going to tell you all about something that's super exciting that you're really going to want to check out. So let's take a look at those plugins. I'm going to hop into the WordPress backend so you know exactly what to do and where to find these, okay? So let's talk plugins. I am in the back end of my WordPress site, and we'll see here, if you just click on plugins, it's going to take you to that plugin page. You're going to click on Add New. So the very first one, and if you have our checklist, you will be following along, is going to be called Updraft Plus. It is a free backup, restore, and clone plugin. Some of those features might be just with the premium, but all you need is the free version. So with this plugin, you can set an automatic backup for every day. I do this. Even if your hosting provider tells you that they back up your site, you should just take it upon yourself to make sure that you also have a backup. So the first one is Updraft Plus, and here it is. The thing I like about this plugin is that no matter what your online storage is, so say you're a Google Drive person or a Dropbox person, you're able to connect this plugin directly to wherever it is you have your cloud storage. Okay, so you're gonna press here to start. You're gonna go through the setup process. So you can set your first backup and you're gonna decide, okay, how many times is it gonna be backed up? So I would put daily, and you can say, all right, let's save 5 copies or 10 copies. That's 10 days. And how the same for your database, I would back it up however often you're updating that. So just do daily. I do 10, and then you're going to select your chosen cloud storage, whether that's Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, you decide. And then you're just going to click Save Settings. All right, so that's the first one. It's gonna back up your site every day. So another tip is when we're talking about backing up your site, anytime you're going to update a plugin, so say you come to your site and it's saying, hey, you've got some updates. Before you update, click backup. This is a good habit to have, to always back up before you update a plugin, because you have no idea what's going to happen. Yes, these plugin developers do their best to ensure that their plugins are not going to compromise your site, but you never know what's going to happen. It's happened to me before, so just always back up before you update a plugin. Okay, so that's the first one. The second thing we're going to talk about is WordPress security. There are some plugins out there. I did test a few. This is the one I like the best. So also, if your site ever gets hacked, you can hire them to clean up your site. So WordFence, it's a free plugin. You can also find it right in WordPress if you search for it. So you're going to look for that one. Or, the security plugin of your choice. Here it is, 3 million installations, recently updated and compatible. Remember, those are the 3 things we are looking for. We don't want to install, like this was updated 3 years ago. We don't want to install plugins that haven't been updated. So you're going to install this, and then you're going to go through setting it up. So the main thing is to ensure that you have set this plugin to ensure that if someone is trying to break into your site, that they're not able to do it. So go through the entire setup process for this plugin. The other tip I have for you with WordFence is just anytime they give you a security warning, just take it seriously and follow the steps, okay? So that's the second thing you're gonna wanna do, is secure your site. And you might be like, okay, do I really need to do this? Just get it done now when you're starting, so that later on, there's not going to be an issue. Because if we go to my dashboard, you can see here that, people are trying to log into my site every day. Okay, so just be secure. The other thing I want to tell you about WordFence is that you can set up 2-step authentication. So basically, you can use the Google Authentication app, and that's going to ensure that if someone is logging into your site with your login, that there's actually a second step, that they can't just get in. They need that code in order to log in. That's just going to keep your site extra secure. So that's the second one. We're talking about WordFence security. Let's keep it going. So the next one is Ask Comet. This is an anti-spam plugin. You're going to want to install and activate it, and then you're going to have to come to their website and sign up. One of the things they ask you is like, how much is this worth? So you can give them a few bucks, or you can just say 0. Don't worry about it. Most people do that anyways. But it is a great plugin, and it's going to prevent a lot of spam comments. You're not going to want your comments to be filled with spam comments, and I guarantee you it's going to happen. People love to spam people, okay? It's like their favorite hobby. So that's how you set up that one. Okay, so that was some of the technical stuff. Let's talk a tiny bit about the legal stuff. And my question for you is, are you blogging legally? I am not a lawyer, like I told you. I'm just following the advice of a fellow blogger / legal expert who is a lawyer, and I actually interviewed her on my site. So if you have questions, I asked her the top 10 questions about blogging legally, and basically the gist of it is that you need to make sure that your site has the 3 essential pages in order to be blogging legally, okay? So we're talking about a privacy policy, terms and conditions, and a blog disclosure. You need these pages. They don't come standard with themes. They're documents that you need to purchase. So since you are likely not a lawyer and can't write them yourself, that's where things like a legal template comes into play. So Amira is a lawyer, and I use her legal template. She has a legal bundle, all 3 templates that I mentioned to you, plus it has like 9 bonuses. I purchased these templates and I installed it, and honestly, it only took 15 minutes. You just have to answer a few questions as you're setting up these pages, and then you're able to have your legal pages. So these 3 pages: disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy. They're all essential pages, and you really just want to, if you're confused as to why you need it, you should check out this post, seek legal advice, do what's right for you. That's my encouragement. But you'll also then want to just set up these 3 pages on your homepage, in your footer,
is the traditional place to have them. So you can see here I have my privacy policy, my disclaimer, and my terms and conditions. So those 3 things are there. So you definitely want to do that. The other thing I want to talk to you about is something called the GDPR plugins. Part of this legality is recently the GDPR passed, and it's just in terms of how you manage people's information. So if you are collecting information, and you definitely are, even just having something like Google Analytics on your site, which we'll talk about in a second, you are actually processing people's data. They're going to be tracked by those cookies. So you need to have a form of consent on your site, and it's just a pop-up, and this is a free plugin that allows you to do that. You also need to make sure that in your legal pages on your site, there is the GDPR consent or disclosure statement, and that your site is compliant. So that's all included in that legal bundle I mentioned. Mira's legal bundle goes for $160. You get all 3 pages. And I also want to mention something to you. Just today, this came out, the Genius Blogger Toolkit. Inside of it, there is a privacy policy and a cookie policy included. So this one, she sells it for $47. It's free with the bundle. So right now, the bundle is on sale for $97. You get access to 93 amazing blogging resources. They've got an early bird bonus that is incredible. So I am encouraging you, if you are starting a blog or interested in growing it, you should check out this bundle. One of my courses is in there. So my Next Level Pin Designs course is in there. So for $97, you are going to get that privacy policy page. Also, so when I was going through and reviewing this entire bundle, and I, checked out her privacy policy, she has a one-time offer when you are, getting your copy of this to get you all of the legal templates. So that's why on your checklist, I mentioned to you that you could actually just purchase this bundle, and for an additional $50 on top of the $97, you can also get all of those privacy policy templates. Alternatively, I do recommend Amira's templates. They're the ones I used, and she's obviously amazing and a lawyer. So that's it about that. The other thing is you want to download and install the GDPR cookie consent plugin. This is a requirement. You need to get someone's consent in order for your cookies to track them across the web. So for example, you'll notice you go to a website and maybe you are shopping for Halloween costumes, and all of a sudden you're being tracked across the web by Halloween costume. That's because, there's a cookie attached to you. So that's that. Alrighty, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is Google Analytics. This is the site that is going to track your website. It's going to track who's coming to your site, your visitors, how long they stay, what pages they go to, and this is going to be really important as things progress, because we want to figure out, okay, what posts are people actually reading, interacting with, what's doing well? This is how we're going to track with Google Analytics. So this is on my site dashboard, and also there's the Analytics website, okay? So I've learned so much from this site. It's taught me about my audience. It's taught me, what social media sites are worth my time, where my traffic comes from. So these are all really great things you want to learn about. So you definitely want to check out Google Analytics. It's going to help you determine what is the best course of growth for you. And we're going to talk about that in a few days. But you're just getting started, so don't worry. You're going to want to set it up. It's super easy. You're going to head to the Google Analytics website. They're going to give you a bit of code, and you're just going to paste that code into either the header of your site. So if you remember, I was showing you, if you go to Appearance, Header, if you're using Genesis, like I recommended, also Genesis, you would go to Theme Settings, has a section for you to paste in your bit of code. So that's how you do that. Alternatively, so I'm just waiting for this to load to show you. Okay, so header, you can put your Google Analytics code here. So there are two plugins you can use. One is the one you see that I have on my dashboard. I'm a fan of that. It's the Google Analytics plugin, not officially by Google Analytics, but it works. So these are the two. You can use Google Analytics dashboard for WordPress by Monster Insights, or this formerly GADWP, okay? So both of them are pretty popular. I have this on one site and this on another. Basically, they allow you to access that data. It's gonna let you put your tracking code right into the plugin, so you don't need to access the header. So if you go ahead, decide which one you like I said, the one I showed you on my dashboard is this one. And on my other site, I use the Monster Insight one. The thing I don't like about Monster Insight is that in order to access some of the features, they want you to upgrade to a paid version. So there you have it. We have covered all the remaining essential plugins that you need to install and activate today.
Well, I've got one final question for you. Did you check out the Genius Blogger Toolkit as yet? It just came out and it's incredible. It's a bundle of 93 blogging resources totaling over $7,000, but it's on sale for 97% off. It's incredible, but this limited time offer is only here for a few days, and if you act fast, you'll also get the early bonuses. Okay, so you're like, what's in this bundle, Natalie? I'll tell you. One of them is my course all about pin design. It's an amazing course. You should definitely check it out, as well as that privacy policy template that I previously mentioned. But there is tech training on all aspects of WordPress, creating sales pages, making offers, email marketing, social media, branding, graphic design, so many things like blog flipping. Literally every aspect of starting, growing, and scaling a blog is covered in this bundle. I even chose my top picks for beginners, intermediate, and advanced bloggers. You should check out my review. I dive deep into the best products in this bundle, where you should start, and help you to figure out if it's right for you. So don't wait on this. You want to click that link and check out the Genius Blogger Toolkit. Like I said, this sale is only here for a few days. So that's it for day 3. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. And if you haven't signed up, hey, what are you waiting for? Click the link, get your workbook, get access to all my tech training videos. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking about content and how you can start from the beginning, writing the best blog posts that are not only going to be shareable, but SEO'd? Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Don't worry. Natalie Bardo signing off, day 3 of the Start a Blog Challenge. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.